Marcus Webb sat in the dim break room of Station Kappa 7, staring at his tablet screen. His shift at the asteroid mining facility had just ended. 12 hours of operating heavy machinery in zero gravity. His back hurt. His eyes were tired. He had nothing to look forward to, except a frozen dinner and sleep. He scrolled through the Galactic Surplus Auction website. It was a habit now. Every day, he looked for cheap tools or equipment he could afford on his mining salary. Most items were junk. Broken drill bits. Damaged pressure suits. Sometimes he found a good deal. Today was different. Marcus stopped scrolling. His eyes went wide. Military frigate, human design, ironclad class, starting bid, $8. $8. For an entire spaceship. Marcus read the description carefully. The vessel was called Ironclad Resolve. It was built during the Human-Krev War, which ended 15 years ago. The ship had been decommissioned and sent to a scrapyard. No one wanted it. The listing had been active for 2 years. He scrolled down to the comments section. There were hundreds of comments. All of them were mocking the ship. Human warships are garbage, wrote a Krev engineer. Too heavy. Too slow. Waste of materials. Why would anyone buy this? Asked a Zelthian trader. You cannot even salvage the metal. Removal costs more than the value. Humans build ships like they build everything, commented a Yaltor merchant. Stupid and overcomplicated. This is why they lost the war. Marcus frowned at that last comment. Humans didn't lose the war. It ended in a treaty. But the galaxy had a short memory and strong opinions. He looked at the ship's specifications. It was huge. Designed for a crew of 200. The armor plating was extremely thick. Multiple redundant systems. Backup power generators. Triple-layered hull design. The aliens called it over-engineered. Marcus saw something else. This ship was built to survive. The current bid was still $8. The auction ended in 30 minutes. Marcus checked his account balance. He had $600 saved. Not much, but enough to survive between paychecks. He looked at the ship again, then at the comments making fun of human engineering. Something angry stirred in his chest. He was tired of this job, tired of this station, tired of aliens treating human workers like they were stupid. His supervisor was a Krev, who constantly reminded Marcus that humans were inefficient laborers. His co-workers barely spoke to him. What did he have to lose? Marcus took a long drink of his cheap beer. His finger hovered over the bid button. This was insane. He didn't know how to fly a military frigate. He didn't have money for fuel. He didn't even know where the scrapyard was located. But $8. He placed his bid. $8.50. The timer counted down. 29 minutes. 28 minutes. Marcus watched the screen, expecting someone to outbid him as a joke. No one did. The entire galaxy had decided this ship was worthless. The timer hit 0. Congratulations, the screen said. You have won the auction for military frigate Ironclad Resolve. Total cost, $8.50. Please arrange transport to claim your purchase within 30 days. Marcus stared at the screen. He owned a spaceship, a real military warship, for less than the cost of his lunch. Then the station's announcement system crackled to life. Attention Station Kappa 7, the automated voice said. Marcus Webb has purchased item number 847392. Human military frigate. Winning bid. $8.50. The break room door opened. 3 of his co-workers walked in. They stopped when they saw Marcus. Then they started laughing. You bought what? One of them asked between laughs. The human death trap. Another said. That ship has been rotting in space for 15 years. Word spread fast. Within an hour, everyone on the station knew. The human miner, who bought a warship for $8. They called him crazy. They called him stupid. Some made jokes about human intelligence. Marcus's supervisor called him into the office. "This is extremely unprofessional," the Krev supervisor said. His 3 eyes narrowed. "You wasted company time making personal purchases during your break. You made this station look foolish. You are fired." Marcus felt numb. He had expected anger, maybe punishment. Not this. "You are serious?" Marcus asked. "Very serious. Collect your belongings and leave." Marcus walked back to his small quarters. He packed his few possessions into a duffel bag. Clothes. A few photos from Earth. His tablet. His tools. Everything he owned fit into one bag. He had no job now. He had $800 in his account, and he owned a spaceship that everyone said was worthless. Marcus looked up the scrapyard location. It was in orbit, around a gas giant called Typhon 9. 3 days' travel by shuttle. He bought a one-way ticket. It cost $200. As the shuttle left Station Kappa 7, Marcus looked out the window at the stars. For the first time in years, he felt something other than tired. He felt curious. Maybe the galaxy was right. Maybe the ship was worthless. Maybe he had made the worst decision of his life. But it was his decision. His ship. His $8 gamble. Marcus smiled. Whatever happened next, at least it would be interesting. The shuttle dropped Marcus at the scrapyard 3 days later. The place was massive. Hundreds of dead ships floated in organized rows around the gas giant Typhon 9. Most were small vessels, cargo haulers, personal shuttles, mining equipment. His ship was at the far end, away from everything else. Marcus got his first real look at the ironclad Resolve through the shuttle window. His heart sank. The ship was enormous, at least 300 meters long, but it looked terrible. The hull was covered in scars from micrometeorite impacts. Pieces of armor plating hung loose. One of the engine ports was completely dark. The whole vessel drifted slowly, rotating in the darkness. "That is your ship?" the shuttle pilot asked. He was a 4-armed Zelthian named Crothar. "You actually paid money for that?" $8, Marcus said quietly. Crothar laughed so hard he had to wipe tears from his large eyes. "Human junk. Good luck not dying in there." The shuttle docked with the frigate's main airlock. Marcus pulled on his pressure suit just in case. The airlock still worked, which was something. He stepped inside. The ship was cold, dark. His helmet light cut through the darkness of the main corridor. Emergency lights flickered weakly. The air smelled stale but breathable, according to his suit sensors. Marcus walked slowly through his ship. The crew quarters were a mess. 15 years of zero gravity had scattered everything. Old coffee cups floated in corners. Photos of crew members were stuck to walls. Someone had left a guitar floating in the recreation room. He found the bridge. The captain's chair was covered in dust. All the screens were dark, dead. Marcus kept exploring. The ship was designed for 200 people. Engineering, medical bay, armory, cargo holds, laboratories, workshops, everything a military crew needed for long deployments. Now it was a ghost ship, and he was the only person aboard. He found the main engineering section and pulled out the manual he had downloaded. It was 800 pages long. The table of contents alone was intimidating. "Okay," Marcus said to himself. "Let's start with power." It took him 2 days to understand the power systems. Human ships were designed differently than alien vessels. Everything had backups. The backup had backups. There were manual overrides for every automatic system. Marcus realized why aliens hated these ships. They were complicated. Really complicated. You needed to understand every system to operate them properly. But there was a reason for the complexity. On the 3rd day, Marcus got the main reactor online. Lights flickered throughout the ship. Screens came to life. The ship's computer started its boot sequence. "Welcome aboard Ironclad Resolve," a automated voice said. "Please verify. Crew roster. 2. Crew roster is 1 person," Marcus said. "Me. Warning. Minimum crew requirement is 40 personnel. Current crew is insufficient for normal operations." "I know," Marcus said. "Just work with me here." Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus learned his ship. He got life support running, restored gravity to most sections, fixed the water recycling system, cleaned out a nest of space rats from the ventilation system. He ate military ration packs he found in storage. They were 15 years old but still good. The packaging said they lasted 50 years. Everything on this ship was built to last. Slowly, Marcus began to understand. This wasn't junk. This was a fortress that could fly. The armor was incredible. 30 centimeters of layered, ablative plating on the outer hull, designed to absorb plasma cannon fire. Marcus ran his hand along the inner wall. This ship could take damage that would destroy any civilian vessel. The engine room was massive. 4 main engines, 8 maneuvering thrusters, backup power systems everywhere. A human engineer had designed this expecting things to break, expecting crew members to make mistakes, expecting battle damage. It was over-engineered on purpose. Marcus felt something strange. Pride. This ship represented human thinking. Build it tough. Build it redundant. Build it so stupid that even a crew of 1 could maybe, possibly, keep it running. On day 16, he got the main engines online. The ship hummed with power. Marcus sat in the captain's chair and laughed. He had done it. 1 person. No training. Just a manual and determination. Then he remembered something. The listing mentioned a cargo bay. He had explored most of the ship, but never found it. Marcus checked the ship's blueprint. There. Deck 4. Section C. A sealed cargo bay, marked with military encryption. He walked down to Deck 4. The cargo bay door had an electronic lock. A red light blinked above it, encrypted, sealed. Marcus tried his access codes. Nothing worked. This cargo was locked before the ship was decommissioned. What was inside? Why seal it? Why not remove the cargo before auction? Marcus looked at the door. He had tools. He had time. He had curiosity. "Let's see what they left behind," he said. He returned to his quarters and grabbed his hacking tools. Cheap stuff he used for entertainment. Breaking encryption was a hobby. This would be harder. Military-grade security. But Marcus had nothing but time. He sat down in front of the cargo bay door and started working. The ship hummed around him. His ship. His $8 fortress. Whatever was inside that cargo bay, he would find it. Marcus spent 5 days working on the cargo bay encryption. His cheap hacking tools were not designed for military security. He tried dozens of approaches: brute force attacks, backdoor exploits, pattern recognition. Nothing worked. On day 6, he had a different idea. He stopped trying to break the encryption. Instead, he searched the ship's computer for maintenance logs. Old records. Anything the previous crew left behind. He found something in the captain's personal files. A note dated 3 days before decommissioning. Cargo Bay 4 sealed per military order 6,847. Contents classified as obsolete surplus. Retrieval costs exceed material value. Recommend abandonment with vessel. Marcus read it 3 times. The military had left the cargo on purpose. It was too expensive to transport back to Earth. Cheaper to just write it off. He looked at the note again. There was a maintenance override code at the bottom, probably left by accident. Marcus entered the code at the cargo bay door. The red light turned green. The door hissed and opened slowly. Marcus stepped inside. His helmet light swept across the cargo bay. His jaw dropped. The bay was huge, and it was full, completely full. Stacks of metal containers lined every wall. Each container was labeled. Marcus walked closer and read the labels. Ration packs, military grade, expiration date, 2075. 50 years from now. There were at least 50 containers of rations. Enough food for one person to eat for decades. Marcus moved deeper into the cargo bay. More containers, different labels. Medical nanites, combat application, shelf stable. Industrial fabricator, Mark 7, with material feedstock. Atmospheric processor, emergency deployment. Water purification system, self-contained. Marcus kept walking. His heart was beating faster now. This wasn't just surplus. This was a complete military supply depot. Then he reached the back of the cargo bay. Weapons. Lots of weapons. Railgun turrets, still in their shipping containers. Missile pods with full ammunition loads. Point defense laser arrays. Armor-piercing rounds by the thousands. And blueprints. Manufacturing specifications for everything. How to build more ammunition. How to maintain the weapons. How to install them. Marcus sat down on a container. His legs felt weak. The military had sealed 200 tons of equipment inside this ship. Then they sold the entire thing for $8, rather than pay to transport it home. He was sitting on a fortune. The weapons alone were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions on the black market. Marcus started laughing. He couldn't help it. Everyone called this ship worthless. Everyone mocked him for buying it. And here he was, rich, actually rich. His laughter stopped suddenly. The ship's proximity alarm was blaring. Marcus ran to the bridge. He slid into the captain's chair and pulled up the sensor display. 3 ships, coming in fast. They had dropped out of FTL just outside the scrapyard. The computer identified them. Yaltor design, light corvettes. No transponder signals. Pirates. Marcus's mouth went dry. The scrapyard was a known hunting ground. Pirates watched for desperate scavengers. People alone. Easy targets. His communication system crackled to life. "Attention, human vessel," a harsh voice said. "This is Captain Vec of the Yaltor Free Company. You will shut down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Surrender your ship, and we will let you live." Marcus looked at his sensor screen. The 3 corvettes were surrounding him, cutting off escape routes. They were small and fast. His frigate was huge and slow. He had no weapons installed. The cargo bay was full of weapons, but they were in boxes. Unusable. "You have 1 minute to comply," Captain Vec said. "Or we will open fire." Marcus looked at the cargo bay inventory on his screen. Railguns. Point defense systems. Missiles. Then he looked at the fabricator. The industrial fabricator that could build anything if you gave it blueprints and materials. And the ship's engineering systems. Designed for rapid field repairs. During combat. His brain started working. Fast. "This is Marcus Webb," he said into the communication system. "I need 10 minutes to shut down my systems safely. This is an old ship. If I do it wrong, the reactor might explode." There was silence. Then laughter from the other end. 10 minutes, Captain Vec said. "Then we come in. Try anything stupid, and you die." Marcus was already running toward the cargo bay. He grabbed a railgun turret container and dragged it toward the engineering section. The fabricator hummed to life. He fed it the installation blueprints. "Emergency mounting bracket," he told the computer. "Fastest possible fabrication." "Warning," the computer said. "Emergency brackets do not meet safety standards." "I don't care about safety," Marcus said. "I care about speed." The fabricator started printing. Metal parts began appearing. Marcus grabbed his tools. His hands were shaking. But he had worked in mining for 10 years. He knew how to bolt metal together. He had 10 minutes. He intended to use every second. The pirates thought they had found an easy target. A single human in an unarmed ship. They were about to learn something important about humans. When humans over-engineer something, there is always a reason. Marcus bolted the railgun mounting bracket to the ship's upper hull. His hands moved fast despite the zero gravity. Sweat dripped into his eyes. He ignored it. The fabricator had printed the bracket in 7 minutes. Not pretty, not safe by military standards. But it would hold. He dragged the railgun itself into position. The weapon was heavy, even in zero gravity. Marcus lined it up with the mounting points and started connecting the power cables. 2 minutes remaining. The ship's computer announced. Marcus swore and worked faster. His fingers fumbled with the connections. Red wire to red port. Blue wire to blue port. Ground cable to the hull. 1 minute remaining. The weapon's targeting system came online. Marcus's helmet display showed a basic crosshair. Manual, aiming only. The automated tracking system would take hours to calibrate properly. He didn't have hours. 30 seconds. Marcus pulled himself back inside through the airlock. He ran to the bridge and threw himself into the captain's chair. The communication system crackled. "Time is up, human," Captain Vex said. "Prepare to..." 3 plasma bolts hit the ironclad resolve. The ship shook slightly. Marcus looked at the damage report. Hull integrity, 98%. The plasma fire had barely scratched the outer armor layer. The pirates had expected the ship to crumble. Instead, their weapons just made scorch marks. "What is this?" Captain Vex's voice sounded confused now. "What kind of armor?" Marcus didn't let him finish. He activated the railgun and aimed manually at the nearest corvette. His first shot missed completely. The round flew past the pirate ship and disappeared into space. "He has weapons," someone shouted over the pirate channel. "Evasive." Marcus fired again. This time, he led the target. Aimed where the ship would be, not where it was. The railgun round moved at incredible speed. A solid tungsten spike accelerated to a fraction of light speed. It hit the corvette dead center. The round punched through the ship's light armor like paper. Completely through. Out the other side. The corvette's engines exploded. Atmosphere vented from a dozen holes. The ship went dark and started tumbling. Marcus stared at his screen. 1 shot. 1 kill. The other 2 corvettes broke formation immediately. "What is that ship?" someone screamed over the pirate channel. Marcus checked his computer's identification system. It was finally analyzing his opponents properly. "Warning," the computer said calmly. "Hostile vessels detected. Recommend combat protocols. Accessing weapons database." Systems Marcus didn't know existed came online. The ship's point defense grid activated. Dozens of automated laser turrets emerged from hidden hull positions. Apparently someone on the crew had left the point defense system on standby. Not completely installed. Not calibrated. But functional enough. The second corvette fired missiles at Marcus. 6 of them streaking toward the ironclad resolve. The point defense lasers tracked automatically. They fired in precise bursts. 5 missiles exploded before reaching the ship. The 6th got through and hit the armor. Marcus felt a small thump. Damage report. Hull integrity 97%. The frigate's armor was designed to survive fleet battles. Missiles from light corvettes were basically annoying. "Retreat," Captain Vex shouted. "Retreat now." The 3rd corvette tried to run. Its engines flared as it turned away. Marcus had spent 10 years operating mining equipment, tracking moving asteroids, leading shots on tumbling rocks. He aimed the railgun carefully, breathed out, fired. The round caught the fleeing corvette at the engine section. The ship didn't explode. It just stopped. All power gone. Dead in space. Captain Vex's corvette was the only one left operational. It was already charging its FTL drive. running away. Marcus aimed at it. His finger hovered over the fire button. Then he had a different idea. He activated the missile pod, one of the ones from the cargo bay. He had installed it next to the railgun. Basic installation. Barely functional, but functional enough. Marcus locked onto the Corvette's FTL signature and fired. The missile launched. It tracked the pirate ship perfectly as it tried to jump. The Corvette entered FTL space. The missile followed it into the jump corridor and detonated. The explosion ripped the Corvette back into normal space. The ship tumbled out of the FTL tunnel, with half its hull missing. Marcus received an incoming transmission. Audio only. Captain Vec's voice was terrified now. Please, please don't kill us. We surrender. Our cargo hold. Everything we have. Take it all. Just let us live. Marcus looked at his screens, at his ship, his $8 warship that everyone called garbage. He thought about the supervisor who fired him, the aliens who laughed at human engineering, the comments calling this ship worthless junk. Transfer everything to my cargo bay, Marcus said. Then leave this system. If I ever see you again, I won't miss. Yes. The damaged Corvette limped closer. It dumped its entire cargo. Salvage. Stolen goods. Credits. Then it jumped away on emergency power. Marcus sat back in the captain's chair. He had won. One person in a ship designed for 200 against 3 pirate corvettes. He started laughing again. His tablet buzzed with a notification. Someone on the dark web had posted about the fight. Word was spreading already. Human warship active in Typhon sector. Ironclad class frigate. Extreme danger. Avoid. Marcus saved the message. Then he looked at his cargo bay inventory. Weapons, supplies, and now, pirate treasure. His $8 investment was paying off nicely. 6 months passed quickly. Marcus looked very different now. He had gained muscle from working on the ship every day. His hair was longer. He had a beard. He looked like a ship captain instead of a tired miner. The ironclad resolve looked different too. Marcus had spent his pirate treasure wisely. The hull was repaired. Fresh paint covered the scars. Shark teeth were painted across the nose of the ship. It looked aggressive, dangerous, and it wasn't empty anymore. Marcus walked through the crew quarters. 23 people lived on the ship now. Humans mostly. A few aliens who didn't fit in anywhere else. There was Chen, a former cargo hauler pilot. Rodriguez, an ex-military mechanic who knew these old ships. Yara, a Thelxian engineer who was banned from her home world for fighting. Jack, a young human who ran away from a colony to seek adventure. They were misfits, outcasts, people with nowhere else to go. Just like Marcus 6 months ago. Captain, Chen called from the bridge. We have another job offer. Corporate security contract. Marcus walked to the bridge and sat in his chair. Someone had installed proper cushions now. The screens were all working. The ship hummed with full power. What kind of contract? Marcus asked. Escort mission, Chen said. Velen Corporation wants protection for a mining shipment through the Kestrel Belt. Pirate activity has increased there. Payment? 40,000 credits. 3-day mission. Marcus nodded. Accept it. Tell them we'll be there tomorrow. 6 months ago, he would have been amazed at 40,000 credits. Now, it was just another job. The ironclad Resolve had completed 73 missions since the pirate fight. Escort work mostly. Some bounty hunting. One planetary evacuation, when a colony's atmosphere processor failed. The ship was perfect for dangerous work. It could take massive damage and keep going. That's what clients paid for. Protection that alien ships couldn't provide. When everyone else ran from danger, the ironclad stayed and fought. Marcus's tablet buzzed. An incoming call, GNN, Galactic News Network. He almost ignored it. Journalists had been calling for weeks, but this one was persistent. "Fine," Marcus said, and accepted the call. A hologram appeared, a professional-looking Axion reporter with bright blue skin. "Captain Webb," she said, "thank you for taking my call. I'm Lyra Venn, from GNN. May I ask you a few questions?" "Make it quick," Marcus said. "6 months ago, you purchased the ironclad Resolve for $8 at auction. Many people called you foolish. Now, you run one of the most successful independent security operations in this sector. Was it worth it?" Marcus leaned back in his chair. He thought about the question. "I bought humanity's obsolete junk for the price of lunch," he said. "Everyone told me it was worthless. Aliens said human ships were over-engineered garbage. Too complicated, too slow, wasteful. And now?" Lyra asked. "Now I understand why humans build things this way," Marcus said. "Other species build ships to run away from danger. Fast engines, light armor. They run when things get bad. Humans build ships to stay and fight. Heavy armor, redundant systems, multiple backups. When everyone else runs, we stay. And there's good money in being the one who stays." Lyra smiled. "That's an excellent quote. One more question. What advice would you give to others looking at surplus human military equipment?" Marcus thought about it. About the cargo bay full of supplies. The weapons everyone thought were obsolete. The ship everyone mocked. "Don't listen to people who call something worthless just because they don't understand it," he said. "Human engineering looks stupid until you need it. Then it looks like genius." The interview ended. Marcus didn't think much about it, but Lyra published the interview the next day. It went viral across the galactic network. Millions of people watched it. They saw the ironclad Resolve in the background, saw Marcus's crew working, saw the shark teeth painted on a warship everyone had called junk. Something changed after that interview. The Galactic Surplus Auction website crashed. Too many people trying to access it at once. Everyone was searching for one thing: human military surplus. Suddenly, mothballed human warships were getting bids. Real bids. Thousands of credits. Tens of thousands. Ships that sat unsold for years were suddenly valuable. People realized what Marcus had discovered. Humans didn't build junk. They built things to last, to survive, to win. Within a week, every human warship in the surplus system had sold. Marcus watched the news reports and smiled. Other captains were following his example. Buying old ships, hiring crews, starting businesses. The galaxy was remembering something important. Humans over-engineered everything for a reason. Because when things got bad, when danger came, when everyone else ran away, human equipment kept working. Rodriguez entered the bridge with a cup of coffee. "Captain," he said, "that interview made us famous. We're getting job offers from everywhere. Premium contracts, corporate security, planetary defense." "Good," Marcus said. "We'll pick the interesting ones." "Also," Rodriguez grinned, "someone on the network calculated your profit margin. You've made 3.2 million credits from an $8 investment." Marcus took the coffee and looked out at the stars through the bridge window. 6 months ago, he was fired from a mining job. Laughed at by everyone. Alone. Now he had a crew. A purpose. A ship that everyone respected. All for $8. "Best money I ever spent," Marcus said quietly. The ironclad Resolve turned toward its next mission. Its engines burned bright against the darkness.